Okay, so we're gonna start our rolling pins, and you can see the different ones that I have up here. These are student ones and mine, so you can see all of the variety that is up there, okay, on what you can create. We've done something similar to this. What's neat about this project is this is like a big stamp, and so when you put this on the table and you roll it, it's going to transfer that stamp, okay, to the piece of clay. Okay, so you can do this over and over and transfer that, and there are lots of really good ones that I've seen. So I'm going to show you how they make this, and you have that seamless pattern all the way around there. In Ceramics 1, we did some boxes that looked like this, okay, where they had a pattern on them that was carved into them. We started with grids that were 1/2 inch, and then we made them bigger so we could see what they would look like for the side of the pot. In this class, we are, I have a smaller grid drawn out for you. It doesn't mean that you have to make things like as little as this is, right? It just gives you more connecting points, okay? More grid lines allows you to draw things a little bit easier because you can draw to here instead of trying to figure out where is 1/2. Okay, so when you have a smaller line, you can do that. You will draw those on here and then transfer that onto this. Okay, and so it would be the same thing in each box. Okay, so if you picked one of these, then you would be multiplying that and drawing it in all of them. Okay, so from there, this is your final piece. This will get glued to a piece of foam, and then the foam will get cut out and attached to the rolling pin. Okay, so what you want to do here is very similar to what I've done with Ceramics 1, where you're trying to figure out what do you want this to look like, what shapes do you want this to make. For this one, we're thinking about lines, but on this one, you do have like positive sections of this where you have like a big piece. You don't want to just cut out a line. You want to cut out something that's thicker. So I would recommend if you're creating a design that you shade this in so you have an idea of what this will look like. Okay, so same thing there, but this allows me to draw the same thing so much faster. Okay, at least on this section, you wouldn't need to use a ruler because we're just brainstorming, but on the final one, you would need to, so it is precise. Okay, but you would be thinking about, you know, what do I want this to look like? I think this might be, it's very similar to what someone's done here. So same thing I would be drawing through, and I mean, using a pencil is a good thing because you're probably going to make a mistake. Okay, most likely you are. So let's do, it would be from this point. Just like that. So you want to come up with what you want this to look like, and then go ahead and figure that out on the big piece. But this is, there's nothing wrong with just experimenting in this section and asking yourself, okay, what would happen if I did this? You know what I mean? And you change it somehow. Okay, so maybe this is what I want my design to look like, but I'm going to try in a couple other ones, see what I can come up with. If you want to use something that is a curve, I have like things like this that you can use, and ones like this, and you would be able to do the same thing. So maybe you wanted to like connect, you know, one corner to the other and you want to have an arch. Okay, so that way you would be able to, you know, shade this in and create the same thing over and over on your piece. You would just be connecting the corners. And you could use a different pattern. You could use just like one of those lids to trace if you wanted something that would have like a bigger curve, but there's nothing wrong with this. And maybe I would go ahead and move this in and try and make something that was similar, like on the inside. This one doesn't have as big of a curve, but okay, so this is where we're headed for today. I'm going to let you go ahead and work, experiment with these, and then come back and transfer it on this. I would recommend drawing like this grid where this is the same size. Okay, guys, I need everybody up here. This is what you're eventually doing. I would recommend that you draw this because this can start to get really confusing when you look at it with no lines. Okay, you can see how this one would be better, and that would maybe help you see like where each box is. So I would know that every box would have this in it, right? That box would be here. This box would be here, that kind of thing. Okay, if you have that grid, it's going to make it a lot easier and you're not going to be off by 1/4 inch. Okay, so I'll pass these out to whoever's ready and we'll get started.